Hey friends, it's Jazz. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all my new and old subscribers. Thank you so much for joining the crew and showing me your support. I definitely appreciate it. I also love reading your comments, so thank you for those as well. In today's video, I am going to show you how I detangle my hair from start to finish, step by step. I'm thinking about creating this series of like back to basics or just the basic series because I find a lot of questions that I get on the street and from friends and family are kind of like the basics of how do you maintain, how do you take care of your hair. So I'm gonna say that the first video in this series would be my deep conditioning video. I'll link it above and down below if you haven't seen that yet. I show you step by step on how I deep condition my hair, as well as provide you with some tips and some tricks with that. And then this will be the second one on how to detangle your hair, how important it is to detangle your hair, and what you can find out about your hair while you're detangling. So if you want to see how I detangle all this hair, just keep watching. Alright, so let's get started. My hair, this is a week-old braid out that I ended up putting into a bun when it started getting frizzy. So, and I did not detangle, so it's pretty matted, which is perfect for this video. Okay. Oh. This is my hair. Like I said, it is pretty matted. It hasn't been detangled in a little over a week. Okay, so for detangling, I use a couple of tools, one or the other. So typically I do use my Denman Brush. You can buy this at Sally's Beauty Supply for I think like $10 or something. This I find to be just easier to detangle, and it's also adjustable. You can take out rows of teeth if you need to, or leave them all in if you would like. And it's also very flexible, so it gives to certain tangles, which helps prevent breakage or ripping out chunks of hair if used correctly. So I either use that, or I will use just a wide tooth comb to detangle if I want to. I typically lean more towards the Denman Brush just because I find it easier and I feel like I get a better detangle with it. But if I can't find my brush for some reason, then I will use my wide tooth comb. Do not use a rat tooth comb or anything with teeth smaller than this to detangle natural hair, because all that's gonna do is rip out your hair. Think about it, when you're detangling and there is your hair is kind of like mashed up at the bottom. If it doesn't have room to get through, it's going to rip out. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you've seen either when you detangle your hair or when someone else has detangled your hair, just balls of hair flying. That means your hair is being ripped out, and that is not what we want. We want to keep our hair on our head. So I'm going to teach you how I detangle. It's nothing special. It's just something that I learned a long time ago when I first went natural, and it's something that I just stuck with and has helped me keep as much hair on my head as possible. Alright, so the first thing I am going to do is, because my hair is kind of dry right now, I'm just going to spray it with some of my leave-in conditioner. If you don't have a leave-in conditioner, I do recommend you get one. Or you could just use a bottle of water and spray that in your hair as well. The goal is to kind of just make your hair a little bit more pliable, and also add like a layer of slip or lubrication to allow your tool that you decide to detangle with to glide through your hair. Okay. And today I'm just using Mielle Organics white peony leave-in conditioner. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so now that my hair is more pliable, I am going to section it. See, it moves a little bit more than it did when I first took down my bun. That's what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to use my fingers to gently part my hair into sections. If I feel a tangle, I'm not going to rip through it. I'm going to try to work it out with my fingers. Clips are like the hardest thing to keep track of. I always lose clips. So I'm just going to use my little scrunchies. Okay, so I'm going to start by detangling smaller sections. This helps you to, one, not get frustrated. I know it can be very overwhelming to detangle a lot of natural hair. So sectioning, making sections help you just stay focused, stay organized, and not so overwhelmed. So I'm gonna take this back section. I'm first going to kind of remove some of the shedded hair that I can with my fingers. And then I'm also going to feel for any really big knots. That way I can kind of just work it out with my fingers first. I do also finger detangle. I tend to do that more in the summertime when I'm wearing a lot of wash and goes, so I'll make another video on that. But in the winter, when I'm doing more braid outs and twist outs, I like to just detangle with some sort of tool other than my hands. Alright. Okay, so now I am going to take either water, again my leave-in conditioner, or a detangling product, something that advertises that it's detangling or for detangling, and apply it to my hair. Today I'm just going to use Not On My Watch Instant Detangler Therapy by Aunt Jackie. I'm using this really only because I have it and I want to use it up. So, but if I didn't have it, I would literally just use water and it works just fine. Okay. I'm just going to add this to my hair. And a little bit more. Alright, and again, I'm just pulling out shedded hairs that I can and feeling for any knots that I may have missed with my fingers. And then I'm going to go in with my brush, and I am going to start from the ends up. So I learned from the Glam twins that it is best to brush your hair in a vertical motion and not a horizontal motion. They said that it does help to remove tangles better and not rip out your hair. Typically when you're brushing it's parallel to the knot, so it just helps kind of rip those knots out instead of being perpendicular, where you can actually brush those knots out, if that makes sense. Because knots are typically horizontal, so you want to kind of get in there like that and brush through the knot. And you always want to start from the ends, and once your ends are detangled, then slowly work your way up towards your roots. And whenever I feel a knot, I never force my brush through it. I always stop once I feel it and then kind of work it out before I continue down. Alright, and once I'm done detangling a section, then I go ahead and just twist it up so it stays detangled. Alright, and I'll just move on to the next section. So one thing that I did have to realize when I went natural was that natural hair is very fragile. So you never want to be overly aggressive with natural hair because it will break and snap easily. And so this section, the next section, see some knots forming here, so I'm just going to try to pull them out. Alright. I also learned that the hair that we do lose is due to how we manipulate our hair, how we detangle our hair. It is natural for you to experience shedding. That's just the natural process of the hair growth cycle. It grows and then it rests and then it sheds. So that's normal. And your hair sheds up to 100 strands a day. So if you're not detangling it for a week or over a week like me, then you should definitely be experiencing a little bit more shedding than you would if you were detangling it every day or every other day. The reason I don't detangle my hair every day is because I am really just trying to keep it on my head. I don't feel like it's necessary for me to detangle my hair every day. It is going to get tangled and all that. I mean, that's just natural hair, that's inevitable. So I don't feel the need to detangle my hair every day because it is just going to get tangled again. So I might as well just detangle it when it's absolutely necessary, which is typically wash day. I don't want to go and wash my hair without detangling it or style my hair without detangling it. And depending on what kind of style I'm doing will determine when in my wash day process I will detangle. So if I am doing a wash and go, then I will detangle before washing. Because once I set my wash and go or once I rinse out my deep conditioner, I want to freeze those curls into place and I don't want to disturb them, so I'm not going to detangle. That's just me. Some people like to detangle as they do their wash and go styling. For me, I feel like my curls are more juicy when I don't. If I am doing a braid out or a twist out type of low manipulation style, then I will go ahead and detangle my hair right before styling. So I will cleanse it and deep condition it and rinse out the deep conditioner and then detangle as I'm styling. I just find that to work best for me. Leave in the comment section how you detangle your hair. Do you use product? Do you just use water? Do you use a tangle teaser, a Denman brush, a wide tooth comb, or just your fingers? Leave that in the comments below. I'm curious to hear how other people detangle their hair. This has just worked for me. I remember when I was younger, my mom would do my hair and she would literally, I would sit on the floor between her legs and she would have a cup of water and just dip the brush in the water and kind of shake it out and then detangle my hair. And I mean, that's just how my mom did it. I don't even know if she really realized what she was doing, but it really helped with detangling my hair and keeping my hair on my head. That extra lubricant, that extra moisture moving through those dry curls just helps detangle. Alright, so you've seen me detangle 2 sections. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my hair and come back with my final tips. Alright, so I'm on the last section of hair and I realized that my hair just felt drier on this side. So for each section on this side, I've been spraying some additional leave-in conditioner and then applying my detangling products. Again, I'm really only using this detangling product, not because I feel like I need it, but because I bought it. It came with a package that I bought and I have it, so I'm using it. It's okay. It's nothing super special. Like I said, I probably would have been just okay with some water. But I am going to try to finish this bottle up eventually. Okay, so my final tips are this. When you are detangling your hair, it is also very important for you to inspect the hair that does come out of your head, just so that you are aware of what's going on. For example, like I said earlier, it's very normal to shed. And you know your hair is shedding when you start seeing very long pieces of hair or hair the same length as the length that's on your head come out. Another way to inspect that is to take one of those longer strands and look at it, look at both ends, and if there's a white bulb on one end, then it's definitely shedded. It came from your scalp, which is fine. Shedding is a normal part of the growing process. Now, if you are seeing shorter pieces of hair, meaning pieces of hair that's shorter than the actual length of your hair. So for example, this is the length of my hair. If I'm seeing pieces this big, that's breakage. That is something completely different, and that's something you want to try to combat in order to retain length. If you are noticing a lot of smaller pieces of hair, even if it's half the length, that's still a form of breakage. So if you are noticing that, then you definitely want to get a trim. And I always recommend, if you don't know how to trim your own hair, please go to a professional who knows how to trim natural hair. That's also how I determine when I need a trim. If I'm seeing a lot more pieces of little pieces of hair, then I know, okay, Jazz, it's time to get a trim. Also, when I find that I'm detangling my hair and for some reason I still hear like popping at the ends when my brush is going through, even though I know I've detangled the section, then I know that my ends are split and they need to be trimmed. Something that I was not aware of when I first went natural were fairy knots or single strand knots. That's when these are when like single strands of your hair are knotted on itself. So they're really tiny knots, and when you touch your hair feels really rough from those different strands or those different knots. What I recommend for that is getting a trim, a professional trim, and also deep conditioning more than either you are now, or start deep conditioning if you don't already. If you haven't seen my how to deep condition natural hair video, I'll leave it linked above for you to view that as well. It's just like this video, I just go step by step how I deep condition, also provide you with some tips to help you out with that process as well. Yeah, so the detangling process can tell you a lot about your hair. You just have to really pay attention and listen to it. Alright, so this is all the hair that I lost. I have not detangled my hair in a little over a week. That's not a lot, especially because I have a lot of hair. And most of these definitely are longer shedded hairs. Like as I'm looking at it, I can see a lot of white bulbs. So I know it's shedded and not necessarily breakage. I did see a couple of pieces of breakage, but that's not really concerning to me because I just got a trim and it wasn't a lot. So don't get concerned if you do see a little breakage. I mean, hair is not invincible. The goal is to make your hair stronger and to try to be gentle with your hair when detangling. Just be more concerned if you're seeing more and more breakage, then you should definitely consider a trim. But that's it. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.